All right, so unleashing customer success. But first, welcome everyone. Isn't this great, right? I mean, just this inspiring venue, Carmel Valley Ranch. But this place is really amazing, and I think for the first time you're not on Zoom, so I can actually see your smiling faces. So welcome, thank you very much for coming. So I want to start with the first story. I've got two stories, 4 lessons learned, and some product announcements. So I gave you the entire outline of this presentation. So my Disneyland story. So who wants to go to Disneyland? Who's not been in Disneyland? Because I'm sure everyone has been to Disneyland. You have not. All right. So I'll tell you, Jeremy, I'll tell you how it goes. So I've been in the U.S. I moved here a decade ago. Finally became a citizen 6 months ago or so. So now I'm dual citizen. And but a few years into coming here, the kids want to go to Disneyland, so we drove to Disneyland. And as we went through the gates, our CSM came to us and took us by the hand to an onboarding experience and then to the rides. And that was great, right? That's how it works, Jeremy. It doesn't, right? It doesn't work like that. And the reason I'm bringing Disney, it's an amazing, super commercialized business. They're not doing this just for fun. They're making a lot of money in the Disneyland facilities. But the way they do it, they design an amazing customer journey that leads to such a business success. So think about that a little bit when I'm going to talk further. I don't know if you know that, but Disneyland has this group called Imagineering. So Imagine Engineering type of group. And all they do is continuously innovate in their customer experience. And for the folks that have been in Disneyland through the years, you know that things are not staying the same. The version of the experience keeps improving. There's a new version of Disney every year. They actually publish that online. So the message I want to share with you today is that the customer journey is the product of customer success, right? So if we switch a little bit from customer success is the interactions and the touch points into customer success is building customer journey product. And customer journey exists whether you own it or not, because customers go through experiences, right, which is the sum of all the interactions and the engagement with the business. So now it's time for us to own it and use customer success as the next decade metaphor for customer success is no longer pre-sale, post-sale mindset. It's owning the customer journey and treating that as a product. And when I say product, I mean versions, right? So which version of the customer journey you're on right now, or which version your customers are on of your customer journey. So we'll talk more about that. But first, you might have heard that we've raised a lot of money to deliver on our customer success vision. So I thought, what better than to share with you what the vision is, right? What does it mean, vision, right? So we went into this, big process with, we have a new team here that is doing branding, and they have a lot of those words in English that I can barely understand. But we had to kind of expand the way we describe our vision. So I want to share it with you for the first time, and then talk about how we came to that. So our purpose, our new defined purpose is to clear the way for more inspiring customer journeys. Clear the way for you so you can build more, you can be inspired and you can build more inspiring customer journeys for your customers. And when we say clear the way, we mean make it easy. Remove all the friction that is required to build those journeys. And inspiring is events like these and getting all those great ideas from the communities. So I use Disney. I'm going to use other examples as well. But getting those inspiring experiences and then implement them into your own customer journey and continue to implement, because customer journey is the product of customer success. All right? So let's keep going. So what led us to this business success? I just mentioned we've been doing customer success summits since 2013, I think, right? 2013 was the first one. That's probably the 10th or something like that, Customer Success Summit. And customer success has been in the news for a very long time. You just look at LinkedIn, it's for years, it's the #1 position, sought after position, which is not engineering. #1 is AI, #2 is big data, #3 is DevOps, #4 is customer success. And that's been forever. And the question we were asked, and we were asking ourselves, so how come the technology of customer success is not keeping up with the demand of the market? What's going on? And we realized that there's way too much friction in the way customer success is being delivered. It's surprising, but that was sad and true, because the majority of the market, which is on the left-hand side, and to some extent even us, has delivered customer success in a very professional service-oriented way. So there's technology, but in order to actually make use of the technology, you gotta learn so many things, and the only way to deliver those things is through professional services. And some companies have it, the majority of the market is still there. And we've decided that, we actually didn't have too many options, but we always have been a very product-oriented organization, and we've decided that we're gonna adopt a different approach. We're gonna productize everything. We're gonna make the technology more complete. That's the shared customer OS. We're gonna take all the layers of best practices and shared knowledge, and we're going to package it up. And we've announced a few years ago the concept of the success blocks, and then we've built the success block marketplace. And this year we're going to open up the marketplace for community contribution as well. But the idea was, how can you package the best practice not through services? And then we moved the role of people from implementers to advisors and consultants, right? So you can see that many of you are customers, so you can see what our team is doing, and the majority of what they do is help you to think about what's next in your customer success journey. It's not about how do I use what. Sometimes it is and it's necessary, but we're trying to package it up more in the product, digital content, and so forth. So after we agreed that this is what we're going to do, we had to redesign the entire customer experience. We had to redesign the entire customer journey. So we've built a journey around freemium and free trial and digital and self-service, right? Because just thinking about this, if I need to learn what customer success is or what customer success technology is, and I gotta schedule a meeting with a salesperson in order to get access to a demo, how likely would I actually learn what customer success technology is if my company is not already acquired customer success technology, right? And this is just one example. And if I want to actually convince, what many of you had to do, convince my leaders in my organization that it's time for us to use customer success technology, and I don't have a way to show it, it's super difficult, right? And if the metaphor, right, if customer success sounds very similar to customer success management, sounds very similar to customer relationship management, right, Mike? Exactly. So, why do we need that? We have a CRM, we've already invested, and we keep investing because CRMs are so great, so we just keep investing. I don't know if you're getting anything out of that, but we keep investing in CRMs. So we had to create this ability for a potential customer to build something which is relevant for their business on their own, and then show this to their leadership. This is why I need that. This is what I'm going to do with that and so forth and so forth. And it keeps going, right? So we had to redesign that. And the principles which I want to promote, which is the new, I guess we all agree into that, is principles of self-service, digital first, and product-led. All right? The company was not willing to adopt a new customer journey because we had something that worked and we had to build something different, so we had to build this on, on the side. And I want to share with you those 4 key lessons that led us to this mindset that it's time to unleash customer success, because we went through those experiences ourselves. So the first one, I already said that up front. The customer journey is the product. So first, customer journey is a product. Let's start with that. And it's the product of customer success. And I know that what I'm saying might sound very similar to how we described customer success in the past, but it has subtleties and differences, and I think this is something that you can take back home into your companies. And being asked, what are you working on? I'm working on a new version of the customer journey. So what version of customer journey you're on? So when I say customer journey is a product, it has a roadmap, it has a backlog, it has iteration in which we're building the next one, and it has a new release of the customer journey. We've all gone through very difficult 2 years since the pandemic hit, and the journeys have changed completely, right? We used to do business in person, and we're not doing that anymore. I remember the year before the pandemic, I think I was 250,000 miles. Thank you all for living so far apart from one another. And now it's easier, right? There's a lot of much richer conversation that's happening and much more value being delivered, not necessarily by flying elsewhere. There's a concept that I didn't know how to get into the presentation, but I feel it's super true, where time is the most valuable currency. And I think we've all realized that in the last 2 years. And we moved from activity model, right, going into a meeting, customer visit, into an outcome model, right? I will only get into my car to go to the office if there's a reason for me to be there, right? Because we have other things to do with our time. And it's true for our customers. I just heard from Brian over there that his customers are not willing to jump on a check-in call with their CSM because they're busy and their time is valuable. So if there's nothing to say, they're not going to jump on a call. So your customers value time. Your employees value their time very much so. And we know how difficult it is these days to actually acquire new talent. And you value your time, right? So you want to do things that actually make an impact. So if the journey is a product and not an output, and customer success is not activity, customer success designs a product that then runs on its own, there's a lot of value being created to this ecosystem. Who else is doing this? Apple. Apple is probably one of the best product companies in the world. And Mark told me that a few years ago, Apple switched their definition of product from the iPhones and the Macs into experience. So even Apple their product is defined as the customer experience. Iterations and versions. I don't know if you've seen those black shades on the stores when they release a new version of the store, right? Every few months you see that, opening up soon again, and there's a new version of the store. So this idea that the customer journey is a product of customer success is not only not new, although we're discovering it today, it's also working, because we just talked about the best companies in the world. This is how they do business. So it might sound radical idea, but it's the right idea. So we should embrace it. In the way it's being done, I was trying to kind of mimic that here, like articulate in Totango's language. So in their business, their success blocks are order online, experience product in store, buy in store, right? You can still define it and name it. And just to blow up the experience product in store, it's organized. I don't know if you went to an Apple store, but this is what happens. You have the welcoming experience, you got the guidance, you got the recommendation, and you got the selling. But it's a very, very well thought through experience. And if you go there, you can see that it keeps improving. Even the stuff that they do on their specialized applications on the iPhone keeps improving, right? It used to take a little bit some time if you had an iPhone on Verizon, and the activation could take like 15 minutes, and now I think it takes like 2 minutes or so. And that leads to massive business success. Who else is doing a great job? Tesla. I just added this slide into the deck this morning because I wanted to connect this to us, right? We're mostly not in consumer goods products or in the entertainment business. So here's something which is more connected. Look at their website. Products, that's what there. And self-service, you order online, and it's a digital website. It starts there. And they're also pretty good, right? So, I don't drive a Tesla, but there's many here that drive Tesla and went through these experiences. And these are great experiences, right? Just compare it to the dealership experience where you need to prepare 4 hours even if you choose the car, you got to spend then 4 hours just to go through the checkout process, right? So this is how businesses win these days. So I think we're in agreement that the journey is the product of the customer success process. The second thing is the journey is shared. We've been talking through the years about breaking the silos, and we don't want to call it breaking the silos anymore. First, it's destructive and intimidating. But secondly, I think more importantly, designing the journey is shared, but also executing the journey is shared. Because the journey is the collection of all of the interaction that the customer had with the company through the years. So there's no way to do it by just one function, or maybe the one function is the entire company, and if the company is broader, it's also the company, its supply chain, and so forth. So the journey is broader than the post-sale journey, and it's shared. So from the left visual, where everyone has their objective and their goals, to the right visual, where everyone is in concert to design and build and measure the customer journey to a better level. Now, it's hard to do when the architecture, the enterprise architecture, is very siloed, right? They've taken the, how did they call them in the 90s? I think packaged applications and put them on the cloud. So now we have a marketing cloud and a sales cloud and a service cloud, and we've got our engineering working on their own cloud. And it's super hard. This architecture makes it super difficult to actually visualize a single customer journey, design a single customer journey, execute a single customer journey. So in order to do that, and this is where we come into the picture, it relies on this all-in-one digital execution engine. So this is why we are proud to call our architecture the shared customer OS. And the shared customer OS is designed to allow you to design and run a unified customer journey, which is end-to-end. And the reason why we feel this is true, because we've done this ourselves, right? When we build our digital-first, self-service, product-led motion in the business, we ran everything on Totango. How do you do that? Everything on our platform. And if I want to emphasize this to you, so I was thinking, how would I do it? I think the best way to do it is to ask who in Totango, which parts of Totango rely on Totango daily. And one of the first things they do in the morning is get into Totango and see what's going on. So Oren is doing this, and he's in product, and he leads the product growth. And Ann and her team are doing this, and they're on marketing. And of course, our customer success team that always use Totango, and our onboarding team is using Totango on a daily basis. And our sales team is using Totango on a daily basis. So this idea is not like a far-fetched, has not been tried before. And yesterday, I think we've heard on the, I thought this was going to be, let's say, dramatic, but yesterday on the CAB, the Customer Advisory Board, it was organic. We've heard this from several, that they're taking the knowledge and the experience that the customer success team have on the journey and are bringing it to the front and doing that in the pre-sales activity and the freemium activity. So it does rely on the all-in-one digital execution engine because of few critical things. You've probably seen that before. We stole this from the lean startup, but it's a classical continuous improvement model. In order to move fast, you gotta cycle through planning, building, launching, measuring, and learning, right? So the key here is to get to the learning quickly in order to create the next version. These cycles exist in software development, agile software development. These cycles exist in startup building. These cycles exist in product launches, pricing launches. But the point here is you got to cycle through that many, many times in order to get to those learnings. We can talk about how many wrong assumptions we had when we launched our self-service product, right? We didn't even build the journey appropriately, but we learned quickly. And as you iterate more, you get more learnings, and then you get the improved results. That's kind of how it works, right? So it's not about knowing everything up front. It's ability to have as many iterations as possible on your customer journey. So when they speak customer success 1.0, customer success 2.0, I would say customer success 300, 301, 302, right? We can't have this like a slow glacier pace movement. You got to move super, super fast because the world is moving fast, and if you want to keep your customers, you have to move fast and continuously improve. If if Audi, which this is what I'm driving, is not going to keep up with what Tesla is doing, they're going to lose market share. I mean, they're already losing market share, so it's not even a point. And the advantage of it is that many iterations creates compounding effect, right? So this is one of the stats that I like the most in what we've been able to do. We started with, I think, like 5 to 10 signups per day. I looked at it yesterday. We had 105, right? So we're like over 100 signups per day these days. So this is, and that's all. There was no like one single super intelligent person in the room, many intelligent people, but there was no like one single idea. It was the collective ideas and the fast execution of these ideas. So these are our lessons, and this is how we operate by. And I hope you can, even if you need to just choose one, the first one is the most important one. Customer journey is a product, and if you want to build product, you got to build it in an agile fashion and iterate super quickly and use the technology and the tools that allow you to do it. So why do I need Totango? To be able to do that, right? Because doing this in other ways is just super difficult. It's not impossible, but every iteration is 6 months or 12 months. So the speed of learning is just too slow. And if you want the compounding impact of the accelerated pace, it's how fast you iterate, right? So cycle time is the most critical one. But we didn't stop just there. We also found some gaps in our model, because although we did create those beautiful Miro charts of customer journey, a second after they were on Miro and we implemented them, the Miro was outdated. And even more than that, I mentioned that the customer journey is shared, right? So what is the plan? What are we trying to do? What's next? So we had to figure out a way to visualize it and connect everyone together so everyone could be on the same page. And this page is up to date and current, represents the current execution. So we came up with the customer experience canvas. We use the term canvas to, remind you about the infinite possibilities. It's like a clean canvas. And this is what it does, right? So there's going to be some more sessions that the team is going to talk about the customer experience canvas. Both Ravit and Nate are going to talk about this. But the idea was to bring together a single visual and an execution engine that allows you to design and build and execute and measure all in one. So now when we look at, so how do you do onboarding? That's how we do onboarding right now, and this is how we're going to do onboarding next iteration, and the following iteration, and so forth and so forth. And we could spot, I mean, we've been in beta. Where's Nate? Is Nate here? When did you start the beta? Like 6 months or so? Yeah, so we've been running this in 6 months, and I told Nate very early on, this is a winner, right? We could simply see the reaction of the market to the release. You can see all the statistics. Sometimes you have this great idea and you build it and it doesn't have any takers. And this one was just spot on. And I think I told Nate, don't tell them what it does. Ask them what's the journey that is depicted here. That was the guidance, right? Don't ask them the how to create the element on the journey. What is the journey here? And it was very, very early on. It was clear that it is working super well. And we didn't only create the canvas, we've also added customer experience canvas to all the success blocks in the marketplace. So you can see everything that we have to offer. And this is the starting point of creating a community where other people can share their customer journeys so you can use that. Right? So the idea is we are going to open it up for a community that is able to create and share their customer journeys that they're proud of, so others can, take the inspirations and build on that. And with that, I would say that we just can't wait to see what you'll come up with. Right? This is so amazing, and we are so proud of these learnings. And we would like to empower you, just think bigger. The customer journey is the product of customer success, and we've created the tools to allow you to go beyond what you've been limited with. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jeffrey Moore,